It started with a Sunday morning, a cup of coffee, and a simple Wi-Fi password change. But what followed was a chain reaction that exposed hidden cameras, illegal surveillance, and a corrupt HOA with something to hide. One man's quiet morning turned into a battle for privacy, truth, and justice. This isn't just about Wi-Fi, it's about power control, and the neighbor who went way too far. For Marcus Green, Sundays were sacred. The aroma of fresh ground coffee, a warm chair near the window, and the rare serenity of a functioning Wi-Fi signal. This was as close to peace as life in the suburbs allowed. That morning, with a mug in hand and a documentary queued, Marcus had every intention of staying off the radar. Until the pounding started. The kind of knock that didn't ask for permission. Marcus frowned, set down his coffee, and opened the door. Karen, clad in athletic wear like a badge of suburban authority, she stood with a tablet clutched tight and panic in her eyes. "Why can't I connect to your Wi-Fi?" she demanded, skipping hello entirely. "My shop's going live this morning. I'm losing money." Marcus blinked. "Because I changed the password." "You what? You didn't even tell me. I didn't know I had to." "It's my Wi-Fi. I never gave you the password." Karen's face turned a shade redder. "But my phone used to connect." "That's implied consent." Marcus raised an eyebrow and slowly closed the door in her face. Back in his chair, he chuckled to himself until he noticed the white van parked across the street. No logo engine off, just idling, watching. Marcus wasn't paranoid, but something didn't sit right. Then came the email. From the HOA. "Dear Mr. Green, a formal complaint has been filed regarding unauthorized bandwidth usage. An investigation is underway." He almost spit out his coffee. Karen. Marcus fired up his network monitor. Dozens of foreign devices, smart speakers, laptops, even security cams had been trying to reconnect. He hadn't realized just how many people had been quietly freeloading on his Wi-Fi. And then he spotted movement. Karen pacing just beyond the hedge's, phone in hand, gesturing toward the van. Moments later, a drone buzzed into view, hovering above his backyard like a digital hornet. That was it. Marcus reached into his desk drawer and activated a custom-built signal jammer. The drone sputtered, jerked midair, then spiraled to the ground with a satisfying crack. Seconds later, the door shook with another knock. "Karen." "You destroyed my drone," she shrieked. "I didn't touch it," Marcus said calmly. "But it was trespassing." "I'll call the cops." "Go ahead. I'd love to explain to them why your drone was recording my yard." Karen's mouth opened, then shut. She glared at him, something between rage and fear, and stomped away. But something about the way she'd moved the van, the drone, it felt coordinated. Marcus went back to his network logs and started digging deeper. That's when he found the real problem. Buried in the access logs were MAC addresses linked to Chad Williston, the HOA president, and another board member. They hadn't just been using his Wi-Fi. They were routing activity through it, masking their own devices behind his IP address. At first, Marcus thought it might have been some lazy freeloading, but it wasn't that simple. Then came the flash drive. He found it just outside his door the next morning, likely dropped by Karen during her tantrum. Plugging it into an isolated system, he opened the files and stopped breathing. There were surveillance videos, not just from drones, but from hidden devices placed around his property. Angles that no outsider should have access to. Night vision footage. Time-stamped records. And it wasn't just him. Karen had video files labeled with neighbors' names, intimate recordings from windows' backyards. Even private conversations caught through directional mics. Then the final file, a recording from an internal HOA meeting. Karen's voice, clear as day. "We just need one violation. He's already too isolated. He won't fight back." A woman responded. "We'll get him on bandwidth, or yard clutter, or anything. Make him comply." That was the moment Marcus stopped being angry and got to work. He called Serena, an old college friend, and now a respected civil rights attorney. Serena had spent her career fighting privacy violations and institutional overreach. When she saw the footage, she went pale. This isn't just neighbor drama. This is criminal. Together, they devised a plan. Marcus uploaded a 12-minute video exposing the scheme. Titled How My HOA Tried to Frame Me Using My Own Wi-Fi. It included timestamps, drone crash footage, Karen's demand at the door, and clips from the HOA meeting. The video went viral overnight. The response was immediate. Neighbors began checking their own devices. Several reported strange connections, drones, and unknown data spikes. Journalists called. Tech blogs picked up the story. And then the police came. This time, not for Marcus. Karen was arrested for illegal surveillance and harassment. Chad resigned under pressure and lawyered up. The HOA was slapped with multiple lawsuits. A federal cybercrime task force launched an investigation citing wire fraud and unauthorized digital intrusion. But Marcus knew there was more. As the weeks passed, Serena and Marcus worked with a group of journalists. They uncovered that Karen and Chad had been participating in a national scheme, a covert data mining operation embedded in HOA boards across the country. They'd used shared Wi-Fi access to gather behavioral data, location info, and even private communications, selling the intel to marketing firms and private investigators. What started with a changed password had uncovered a sprawling web of corruption. Marcus became a local hero, then a national whistleblower. And Karen, she never returned. Her house was seized as evidence. Her name became a meme. But the damage she'd done to others, to privacy, to trust, was far from forgotten. Marcus didn't go back to quiet Sundays right away. There were interviews, court dates, panels, tech expos. But eventually, the peace returned. Only this time, the Wi-Fi was locked, encrypted, monitored, and entirely his. And the neighborhood, it would never be the same.